Okay, part two. My voice sounds like shit. Just bear with me. Just to catch you up. My dad dies. I'm in boarding school. My mom on the phone says, I don't want you to go. And I said, listen, Debbie. Her name's Debbie, of course. I said, listen, Debbie. If you don't want me to go to the funeral, if you don't let me go to the funeral, then just keep me in here until I'm 18. We don't have to talk again. And she ended up letting me go after talking to my grandparents, and they were like, she has to go. Like, what? And so I went for 2 days. Like, she drove me from Fresno to LA, and then drove me back. And she wasn't even allowed at my dad's funeral because whatever, my brothers and sisters and her like beefed it, and they were just like, hell no, like, we don't want her there. So she drove me there, drove me back. I get back to boarding school, and I'm in boarding school like group therapy the next morning, and the group therapist says, oh, this is so great, like, someone's gonna be going to a horse ranch tomorrow. Isn't that awesome? And I remember thinking in my head, like, fuck, sucks to be them. And she's like, Ashley. And I'm like, oh, fuck, of course it's Ashley. Like, of course it's me. And pack up my stuff, get ready to go in the morning. These two people come and like handcuff me. It wasn't in the middle of the night, but they handcuffed me, and super sweet people, by the way. I definitely made friends with them in the airport, and on the way there, it takes me to Turnabout Ranch. It's this place in Utah, and it's for kids that are rebellious, are doing drugs, like whatever. I get there, I'm like sitting in a pile of rocks with a teepee over my head. I'm at fucking wilderness. It's not a horse ranch. I mean, I did end up riding horses, but it's fucking wilderness. And the guy there, Wayne, who ended up being like besties with, loved him. He told me, like, here's a journal, you're going to be writing for the next 3 days about what you did to get here. And I'm just like, I just remember feeling so alone in the world. Mind you, the only people I loved didn't live near me in Northern California versus Southern California, where my dad's side of the family and my grandparents on my mom's side lived, right? Just me and my mom up in Northern California. Now, I'm in Utah. Nobody is around me that could love on me. And I just felt misunderstood, completely misunderstood my whole life, right? At this point, I'm getting so angry. I'm there. I'm not having a good time. I'm not following the program. And I'm like sleeping on plywood in this cabin. And I'm having night terrors about my dad. And I'm waking up screaming, cursing. People are having to wake me up. And I'm just kind of like, what is life? I just kind of felt let down by caretakers, felt let down by my family, by the system. So anyway, I'm probably gonna have to cut this short and just do a part 3 in the morning because I'm sick. So I ended up getting it together, and doing a lot of crying there, getting a lot of validation from boys. I started realizing that, like, I could get validation from boys, and that it made me feel good inside. And I think that was kind of the first time that I actually felt good on the inside independently. So I went with that. And I also started riding horses. And riding horses was very therapeutic for me. I felt like I really connected with horses, and like they really understood me. Till this day, horses are still the one animal that I feel the most connected to, and the one animal that I feel like helps me spiritually. So I get out of there. I was there for 3 months. I get out of there and I go home to my mom, and I'm home with my mom. Nothing changed. It was good for like a few months, and then it was just like, because when I didn't change, I learned new coping mechanisms. I learned new defense mechanisms. It wasn't like I like wiped the slate clean of like the resentments and the traumas that I had already now had. And it wasn't like my mom was even willing to see that any of it was her part. So nothing changed. So with nothing changing, we went to therapy. We would go to therapy, and a lot of the time the therapist, she would give her, my mom would give her a thing, and then I would say, okay, to whatever the therapist's name was, but just hear me out from my point of view. And at an early age, I could realize and like intellectualize that, like, the math ain't mathin', Debbie. Like, this doesn't make sense. Why you're seeing things in the way you're seeing them. And also why you're not having any compassion or any like understanding that my dad just died, or any self-awareness of your damn self. And the therapist would always, well, this only happened twice, but with two therapists, the therapist sided with me or like understood my perspective and where I was coming from. And when they would say that to my mom, then we would go to a therapist. So I knew, like I had a hunch that it wasn't just me. Um, but I didn't understand it. And like I wanted a mother's love. I wanted so badly a mother's love. I wanted my mom to love me, to understand me, to have compassion, and to work with me. I was down to work with her and to try to like, get something going to where we could be healing together in my whatever young mind. But instead I rebelled. And middle school was kind of a blur. It was just a lot of like us not getting along, and of me not feeling understood, of me using boys for validation, and really like leaning on validation. Like I want there to be a heavy emphasis on me seeking outer validation and external validation. Just guys, girls, it didn't matter who. If you had something good or nice to say about me, I wanted to hear it. And then I was gonna take that and be like, yeah, that's true. That's true about me. While me not feeling like that about myself. But every time you said it about me, it fueled me to keep going. So then I get into ninth grade, and ninth grade, I'm in a Christian private school. I messed around a lot, and I was just like rebellious. Again, class clown, kind of social butterfly, always like wanting to be involved socially, and that's all I cared about. School just kind of came easily to me, besides math, but school came easily to me, so I never like flunked out. I just didn't get along with my mom, and I had a problem with authority. So then by the end of ninth grade, the school was just kind of like, listen, we're not kicking her out, but if you didn't bring her back, we wouldn't be upset, is how my mom worded it to me, that they said. Then I went into 10th grade to a different school, a different community, where I finally felt loved by this community. I felt like I had found my people in Northern California. And you know what? Hold on. We're going to do part 3 in the morning, because now we're getting to the meat and potatoes, baby.